I'm Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today I got a mega movie plan. Today I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man 3. I'm going to go over the good, the bad, and my recommendation on whether you should go back and see this one in preparation for Spider-Man No Way Home. So let's get started.
The suit? Where'd this come from?
Now to get into the good of the movie. So there's a couple good parts to this movie. First being Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman. This is actually a great villain for this story. His powers are really cool, how he can manipulate sand and just take on so many different forms with those sand powers. And if they just focused on Sandman for this movie had great potential to be a really powerful story. I liked how they connected Sandman's character to Peter Parker and the Uncle Ben storyline. So that was a good setup. And if they just kept going with that for the whole focus of the movie, this movie could have been a lot better. Also, the second part I really enjoy here is when Spider-Man has the symbiote suit. When Spider-Man is symbiote Spider-Man, that looks really cool. And I do like that storyline of him having that symbiote suit and how he's more of a tougher Spider-Man, not merciful at all. And I think if they just paired that with the Sandman storyline and just kept it like that and just took it that far, then this movie could have worked a lot better.
Make it very special for Mary Jane.
Harry. You knew this was coming, Pete.
Now to get into the bad of the movie. Now there is a lot of bad here. Let's just go over the terrible character choices. Wow, there's a lot of bad ones here. First of all, with the returning cast, Mary Jane is not good in this movie. She just seems very off-putting, kind of irritating. She gets very jealous of Spider-Man. And it's just so weird because at the end of the Spider-Man 2 movie, she was so head over heels for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And in this movie, it's just a complete 360 turn. And it just feels really weird and awkward. And then some other characters as well here. Topher Grace as Eddie Brock and Venom is just miscast all the way here. Topher Grace just comes off as more of a dorky type of character, and Eddie Brock is supposed to be a strong, menacing character, someone that you're afraid of. And then when he gets the symbiote suit and becomes Venom, he is supposed to be terrifying. But this Topher Grace Venom is not terrifying at all. He just comes off very cheesy and just out of place, and you're not scared of him at all. And it just doesn't look correct. The Venom character at the end of this just doesn't look correct. Yeah, it's just completely off with that. And that's just such a waste because Venom is such a great character, as we've seen with the new Venom movies. Had such high potential. Spider-Man 3 dropped the ball on that. Speaking of another character that they dropped the ball on here, it's going to be the new Goblin, the Harry Osborn character. Is so just off in this movie. He just has a weird memory loss storyline, and it just comes off really cheesy. And then he goes back to liking Mary Jane, and then they have that weird triangle relationship between him, Mary Jane, Peter Parker, and it's just so odd. And just the new Goblin character, when he's gliding, some of the scenes at the beginning just looked off to me, especially when he was fighting Peter Parker. It just looked super cheesy and did not look really realistic. And I think maybe just the CGI effects over time did not keep up, because today they did not look good at all. And just his character arc of just now, first memory loss, then doing another turn completely again and then going against Spider-Man. And then by the end, he does another turn and then he starts helping Spider-Man because Sandman and Venom team up. It's just all around too much switching and flippy flopping, and it's just not good for any of these characters in this movie. There's just characters not getting enough screen time here. And speaking of not enough screen time, bringing in Gwen Stacy, I almost forgot this character was even in this movie till I watched it again. But Gwen Stacy is barely in there for much of any scenes, does not serve a big purpose in the movie. And that's the problem with this movie here. There's so many different characters. Each of them are not really getting a moment to shine, and just at different moments seem out of place. It's not very cohesive, and it just feels like a bunch of movies mixed together here. Very weird choices.
Hate those things.
Some more bad of the movie. This movie has a lot of bad. How to have another section on it right here. So just overall the script for this movie, it just feels like it's a bunch of storylines thrown into one movie. They mixed the pot around and then they threw out Spider-Man 3 with all these different storylines. It is just not working at all with any one full storyline. It's just all over the place. You have so many things going on in this movie. You have all the melodrama stuff with Mary Jane and Harry Osborn, and so that seems like its own separate movie. And then you have the stuff with Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker getting the symbiote suit, and he's symbiote Spider-Man, and then he starts acting in a different way and his personality completely shifts. And that's another thing here. When his personality shifts and he becomes all emotional, it just is weird and awkward, and it looks like he's trying to be cool, but we don't buy it. It doesn't look cool at all. It just feels weird and out of place. And so you have that storyline going on. And then you have the Sandman storyline going on with connecting to the Uncle Ben character from storylines past. And then you have the New Goblin stuff. Harry Osborn trying to fulfill his honor to his father. And so that's a whole nother storyline. And then you have the Eddie Brock storyline and him trying to be the rival to Peter Parker, and he just kind of comes out of nowhere, just completely left field, going to the Daily Bugle, and it's just so odd. And then they squeeze Venom into this movie, and Venom's only in it for a very short time towards the end of the movie. And it's just all over the place. Like I said, this script is a big miss. It is just not cohesive at all. It just does not work.
Hey, Parker.
This could be the end of Spider-Man.
We have to forgive each other, or everything we ever were will mean nothing.
Now to get into my recommendation of the movie. Now, should you go back and see this one for Spider-Man No Way Home? Well, if you want to suffer through this movie, be my guest, go back and see it. It is available on Universal streaming platform Peacock. You can check it out for free if you really want to. It's not a good movie here. You're probably not going to enjoy much out of it. And do I think you really need it for Spider-Man No Way Home? If I would say there's any one you could probably skip here in the Spider-Man series, Spider-Man 3 would definitely be the one you could most skip. Yes, we are getting Sandman in No Way Home. We've seen that off of the poster, that Sandman will be there. But I really don't think you need this background context within this movie for that. I don't know if Sandman's going to have a massive role in No Way Home. From the poster and then the trailer, it seemed like he was a little bit more in the background, not one of the more main villains. So I think you could do fine skipping over this one unless you really want to go back and see it just to get the full Tobey Maguire Spider-Man experience, then go for it, but just know it might be a little bit of a tough watch here. So please let me know in the comments below, have you gone back and seen Spider-Man 3 recently, and is it as bad as you remembered it was? To me, it's really bad. If there is a fan of it out there, please let me know that in the comments below. What do you like about this movie? I would like to appreciate some more things about the movie. Just didn't work overall for me. So this is Mega Mike, the movie man out here. Make sure you subscribe if you're discovering my channel for the first time. If you can relate to enjoying talking about movies, watching movies is the best part of the day, then you're in the right place for it. Make sure you subscribe. Also like the video. And this is Mega Mike, the movie man out here, reminding you to make every day a movie day.